The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Happy Friday, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison, alongside Aisha Morrison, alongside Jess Navarez, and alongside Christy Scales. How y'all doing today, ladies? I had to add a little.
I know.
Okay, Bow Wow.
TGIF. Wow. That's crazy. Insane.
I know, don't get me. Don't get
now
me.
It's stuck in my head. Yeah. We're going to get a copy.
We're feeling a little wicked.
Wicked.
Yeah, it feels a little wicked.
Okay, what is it? The title?
What?
Wicked.
Come
Get
on,
it.
slay.
Yes.
Slay.
I hope it gets wicked on Sunday.
That SEO.
In the Cowboys' favor.
That SEO is going to
See
be
what I did there?
popping.
It might get a little wicked.
Hope so.
It might get a little wicked. Some revenge stuff in there. There's some.
Depends for which side. But
Well,
yeah, it could get wicked for either side, truly.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun.
Let's hope it gets wicked, though, for Dallas. In a good way.
Facts.
That didn't sound like it was a positive.
It's wicked in a good way.
There we go. Wicked in a good way. All right, we're still waiting for the injury report. Typically, we do a roll call real fast, but I'll just put a little reminder out there of who to watch for the injury report when it does come out. Hopefully, it does come out soon. But yesterday's practice, again, Deron Bland was a full participant. Brandon Cooks, limited. Trayvon Diggs, limited. Chuma Edoka, another full participant day for him. Tyler Guyton, full participant. Good sign there with a shoulder. Eric Kendricks, a full participant yesterday. He was limited on Wednesday. Marshawn Nealon, limited. CeeDee Lamb did not participate. Big one to watch there. Jordan Lewis, limited. He did say earlier in the week, though, that he expects to play on Sunday, so that's a good sign. And Zach Martin, Tyler Smith, Nick Vigil did not participate, but Hunter Lipke was limited after not participating on Wednesday. Then you look at the Washington Commanders. Dorrance Armstrong, full participant. Limited is Nick Bellore, their linebacker, did not participate. Michael Davis, Farrell, their defensive end.
Sorry, my computer's just beeping over
No, you're
here.
fine. Marshawn Lattimore, big one to watch there, did not participate. And, everyone else.
He's been ruled out.
Yeah.
He's been ruled out for tomorrow.
As of today.
As of today, Marshawn Lattimore's been ruled out for tomorrow. We did get an update on CeeDee Lamb, if I'm not mistaken, that it's expected that he should play. That was good news. We're still kind of wondering about Deron Bland as well.
Yeah.
Sounds like he did go through everything,
Yeah.
as Mike McCarthy reported today. So maybe we'll have some more insight on him tomorrow, for certain.
I would say, based on what I've heard, if not this week, for sure next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where it's trending.
Yeah.
That's
Again, and he shouldn't.
and it could change.
Yeah,
it could
yeah.
change. It just that's kind of where things are.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the injury report for today's practice, but hopefully we get some good news for Deron Bland and other guys as well, especially CeeDee Lamb. But Christy, I'm going to you because you look at the
it's so
comparisons.
popular.
No, I am so popular today.
Okay. All the wicked references.
Yeah, there we go.
Love it. Dang, I was trying
Define
to use
gravity?
Defy gravity with that.
I was trying.
Y'all are taking it there.
Look, I'm
No.
so excited for that movie. Okay.
Facts. Christy, all right, there has been a completely different story for the Washington Commanders when you think about health concerns or lack thereof, because they've been a pretty much healthy team this season. So
because in the NFL, it's not just staying healthy, or it's when you play an opponent, especially a division opponent, who you play them twice a year. It's about catching them at the right time or the wrong time. And so, from Washington's standpoint, boy, are you catching the Cowboys at the right time? Where you don't have Dak, you're not sure about CD, probably not going going to have Zach Martin, may not have Deron Bland back. And so we know all about the Cowboys injuries, but Washington, one reason why they've done so well this year, sure, Jaden Daniels, their rookie quarterback, is playing well, and sure, they've got new coaching staff that's brought in a lot of free agents, and they drafted well, and, you know, a new fire and energy, but they have been healthy. And so you look at the Cowboys' success last year, you know, the 12 wins, that the Cowboys were healthy really throughout the whole season and even going into the playoffs. But the good health has been a key to Washington's success. On defense, 7 of their 11 starters have started every single game.
Wow.
The one big player that they're missing, Jonathan Allen, he and Deron Payne have been the two.
They're so good.
The two stalwarts of their defensive line. Jonathan Allen landed on injured reserve in Week 7, and then former Cowboy Dorrance Armstrong, he's missed one game. Their rookie Mike Sanristil, their rookie cornerback, has started all but one game, and so they have been a very, very healthy unit, particularly on defense. And on offense, 7 of their 11 starters have started every game, but most importantly, 4 out of their 5 offensive linemen have started every single game.
Dang.
And so you look at the state of the Cowboys' offensive line, and especially, you know, at the end of Monday night's game where 3 of your starters, 2 of them Pro Bowlers, are, you know, can't even finish the game. They're in the blue medical tent or up the tunnel in the locker room or the imaging room. That's one reason for the big discrepancy between Washington and Dallas this year. Everyone's thinking great things for Dallas, injury bug bites along with a lot of other issues, but Washington, infusion of talent, they've stayed healthy, and it shows with their 7 wins.
And it kind of goes back to what you were also talking about earlier, how the Cowboys are playing Washington with they're one of 3 games in 11 days versus Washington playing Dallas 11 days after their previous Thursday night game. So it's
the Cowboys really,
for them.
you know, the schedule makers, and I know that every single team can complain about, look at something with the schedule.
Right.
But every year, the Cowboys play the 3 games in 12 days where you have the, you know, the Sunday, and then the Thanksgiving Day game. Well, you have Monday Night Football, so you're down one day. So they finish Monday night late. They play again, the Cowboys, this Sunday in Washington, and turn around and play the Giants on Thanksgiving Day. So 3 games in 11 days. Meanwhile, the Washington Redskins are coming off a mini bye because last week they didn't play Sunday.
Yeah.
They played Thursday night against the Eagles. So they have 11 days before they play the Cowboys. So timing is everything in the NFL, not just in terms of injuries and when the injury bug bites you, especially at certain positions, but with the way that the schedule makers and the timing of when you're catching Washington and Dallas. Short rest compared to longer rest.
And look at the timing of this injury report because we just got it.
There we
All
go.
right. Deron Bland, full participant in today's practice, but there are quite a few guys questionable. Brandon Cooks, as expected. Trayvon Diggs, questionable. He was limited in today's practice. Chuma, questionable after being a full participant today. And says Zach Martin, doubtful. Tyler Smith, questionable. Nick Vigil, questionable. So let's talk about this offensive line because Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, if you don't have those 2 guys, that means you have just Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass. Well, where would you put Brock Hoffman? Where would you play TJ Bass? Anybody?
Well,
TJ
that's
Bass is
his
a better
normal
right
spot
guard.
as right guard. I mean,
TJ Bass is
that's
a
where
better
he's
right
done his
guard.
work.
Brock Hoffman was better at left tackle than center. They would be at their respectful places. I'm stressed out.
Well, and with Cooper Beebe, I don't really think you need to move him anymore if
Heck
you don't have to.
no.
Keep him at center, move Brock Hoffman out. He's a veteran at this point. He can handle that.
Wait, so you're saying put Brock more at left tackle?
Left guard. I think she meant left guard.
He's better. He's
Okay.
played.
Left guard.
He's performed better at left guard, and TJ Bass plays better at right guard.
Yeah.
But
Either way, it's just
it's gonna be a no for me.
stressful.
And then you've got Awesome Richards, who, you know, is going to... The good news is Tyler Guyton did practice this week, and so it looks like he'll be able to go again at left tackle. But that meant that Awesome Richards could also, you know, position flex if you needed to. But I think if it'll probably be Bass at right guard, and if Tyler Smith can't go the whole distance, Hoffman at left guard.
But then let's think about this. You're also still shorthanded because what
if
God forbid.
Yeah.
God forbid
Right.
this happens if
Yeah,
anyone else gets injured, but you have no depth.
right?
Literally no depth.
That's NFL. It's that time of year.
Yeah,
Everybody don't have what Washington's having right now. Like, that's not the norm.
it's a luxury for them, right?
Yeah,
now.
Cowboys kind of had something like that last year, I want to say. Cowboys were
Well,
fortunate.
Because
to-
the injuries happened early, if
They
you
happened,
remember, to where
yes.
you were switching in and out the early weeks. So by this time last year, you had your steady set, and you were finally getting your groove going later. Like they were on a later progression. But yeah, to your point, like to that point, if something happens, you have
Which
to find a
hopefully
shuffle.
doesn't,
Well, yeah, knock on wood. But I can't reach.
That's fine.
I'm screaming.
We got it.
I got it. All right.
This wood.
Yeah.
It
sound
looking
like
like it.
Perfect.
Sorry.
It looking like it.
To your point, yeah, that's not a good position to be in. And overall, too, when you're not having Zach Martin on the field, I know he hasn't been playing his best ball, but a high communicator. Obviously, the guys look to him in those stressful game time situations to communicate effectively through the line. I know Cooper Beebe relies heavily on him to kind of bounce off of that. So to me, I'm looking at Cooper Beebe as being, he's a rookie, but the guy that really takes that line to communicate and kind of see how, let's call it what it is. Let's see how this line looks without Zach Martin. You don't know what next year holds. It's a question mark. You might have to start getting used to not having him in that line. So I'm interested to see how everybody handles that.
Yeah, I mean, and how Cooper Rush handles it also, because he was already rattled behind the offensive line that they already had with Zach Martin, with Tyler Smith, and this is no shots to Brock Hoffman or TJ Bass. I mean, that's just a really young offensive line when you add those two guys there too. So
It's just
I'm
stressful.
not taking shots, but I have been
Ball
personally.
release is going to be real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I've been personally. But the thing is like, I feel like the ball was coming out of his hands quickly last week with Cooper Rush.
No
And
play
protection
action.
was good at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so many things that I didn't agree with. But as far as TJ Bass goes, I mean, he's hurt me a little bit this year. I mean, in general, I was really looking for him to kind of take a step. Coming to this year, I thought that he played admirably last year when he was called upon in his young career to be on that offensive line, and I was expecting to see a jump from him, and so maybe if Zach is not playing, we'll get the opportunity for him to get some good reps and to maybe build some of his confidence again, and to shore up some of his hand technique in the process. So but that's how we're looking at. We're evaluating sisters. But this Washington defensive line, they don't have interest in defending the run sometimes. However, they can rush the passer. They can do that. Yeah. It's a Dan Quinn thing. They do stunts. They do blitzes up the A gap. They do so many things that would attack your interior. And so
Are you mixed stressed?
I'm very mixed.
See, and that's the thing. Even with the veterans in there, the Cowboys haven't handled these stunts well this year.
That's the only thing that BB has struggled with to me this year.
Yeah.
Getting to the second level and doing some of the stuff they've been asking him to do, but the stunts and stuff. But Christy, you guys, your interior is your strength. No,
Should be.
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be.
When you talk about Tyler Smith, Zach Martin, and Cooper Beebe, even though he's a Nugget, I thought the interior would be your strength. So I'm a little saddened by that.
I mean, but this is something we've been talking about, is kind of why that is the issue.
Tracking.
Is what is going on that it's not your strength, because we've talked time and time again, even Zach Martin, given he's hurting. It's that time of the year. Even before that, we were talking about how he wasn't playing his best ball. Tyler Smith, the penalties still can be an issue, especially pre-snap penalties at some point. So for me, I'm kind of eyeballing why, and that needs to get solved.
I meant to ask Nate Newton, and I'm going to ask him this Sunday, is how long does it typically take to develop as an offensive lineman, as far as just like growing with fundamentals and things like that at this level? Just because, like, I get we've always been saying that this is a young offensive line, but how long does it typically take?
Well, it's also, if you think about the two rookies that are starting, Tyler Guyton played the other side at
Exactly.
OU, and Cooper Beebe had never played center
center.
until he came to the NFL.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that's not shade at those guys.
Yeah.
Those are facts. I mean, and the other thing is when you have older players like Zach Martin or the previous couple years with Tyron Smith, and they get those veteran rest days on Wednesdays where they're not out there going through the team drills. That's wonderful in that the guys like the TJ Basses and the Brock Hoffmans of the world get some extra reps with first team that young players would normally not get. But when there's cohesion, if that's part of it with the line, I mean, you've got to rest the guys. I think that's the right thing. I'm not implying that that Tyron should have been practicing all those ones or Zach Martin should
for
be
sure.
everyone. I'm not implying that at all. But when there's two guys working in, they're not working together every single day, every
Right.
single snap, particularly in the team period.
I mean, and to your point, too, about the veteran rest days, Christy, you've seen the success with it. You saw Tyron Smith last year play some of his best ball, and he would talk about the veteran rest days.
Veteran West Day?
Yeah, there we go. The veteran rest days. And same thing with Zach Martin. But the thing is you look at Tyron Smith now, and with the Jets, which is just interesting story in itself. I wonder how their practice schedule for him is this season compared to what it was, because it really was working for him, especially coming off of that very gruesome knee injury that he had.
Well, the practice schedule for Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong is clearly working because they are having a heck of a season. Let's talk about it. Dante Fowler with 8.5 sacks, 30 pressures. Dorrance Armstrong, 3 sacks, 31 pressures. What type of impact do you feel like they have just had on this Washington defense so far? I mean, I know it's evident, but still, we can talk about it.
Washington did they prepared. This is what good teams do. They prepared for what this year was going to be for them, because I remember in the middle of the season last year, I was like, y'all just gonna trade your edge, your best edge. Not on top of that, like they got rid of all their edges. I think that they were prepared for a new coach to come in to bring whatever guys he wanted to bring, but to also go draft and do what they needed to do. And yeah, those guys have had an immediate impact on that defense, and they've gotten more opportunity in a sense too, because with the Cowboys, it was always a rotation because you had so many pass rushers. But with them being like the guys, they've had more opportunity to, to show what they can do. And Dante Fowler was one of my favorite. He's just a pure pass rusher, has plenty of ways to get to the quarterback. So I mean, they also really tackle. They tackle strong. They tackle well. It's just sometimes you can get very driven to rush the passer. So that's some of what you see with them, which was kind of how I was here too. So, but as far as what they've done, they've kind of set a foundation in a way. And they're Dan Quinn's guys, right? And Joe Witt's guys. Like, they know these guys. So just like we talk about Kendricks, where we're like, he's supposed to set the standard and be an echo of what the coaches want. I'm sure that's what they have been for this Washington defense to start as well, ladies.
For sure. And with Fowler, 4th in the NFL in sacks.
It's
with 8.5.
8.5.
But the thing is, it's not just because you're right. The pass rusher, that's where he's made his bones in the NFL. But he's top 10 in tackles for loss.
Yeah.
And so, in fact, I asked Mike McCarthy about Fowler yesterday. Said he's playing with his hair on fire. That Joe Witt is utilizing him in exactly the right ways, which is what Aisha was talking about there. And playing with the hair on fire and. In regards to the tackles for loss, talking about how well he's playing against the run, because that's not the first thing that you associate with his game, but Mike McCarthy was sure to point that out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy when you have your guys that follow you, right? Like, you have a Joe Witt that knows your strength, that's going to play up to it. And I think that's what this Washington staff overall is doing with their entire team, is they're playing to the strength of their players. They're not expecting players to play into an already set system. It kind of seems very collaborative and very open to, hey, this is what I'm good at, let me do it, and that's what it was. And with Dan Quinn, I mean, it was a very open discussion, kind of open door policy for his coaching style. So I can imagine that with his coordinators, Joe Witt especially, it's the same situation. And when guys believe in a system, they feel important, they feel valued within it, they're going to play with their tails on fire like this. And for me, to see a Dante Fell and a Dorrance Armstrong succeeding, it's because, they had the belief in Dan here. They built it, they grew it, they understood it. And then guess what? Dan has that magnetic field to him that gets guys to go, believe in it, and he took a coaching staff with him and built a coaching staff over there that, again, just has that same kind of field to them. So for me, what you're seeing is you're seeing two players that didn't get opportunity, much starting opportunity, especially here, and then they went on to grow, got their opportunity, and they're making the most of it now.
Yeah, and it's just by design, too. Yeah. Like, it wasn't a bad thing that they didn't get that much time, like as much time, as many snaps. It's just kind of how the system was. Yeah. And it actually was valuable that way, to be honest. You had guys, they had fresh legs when you got to the end of the season. And again, these are guys that can purely rush the passer, that give you depth on that line. So, yeah, I mean, it was just time. And
who were you going to take off the field, Micah or D-Law?
Right.
And so, and with Dorrance Armstrong, his sack numbers aren't as high. I think he has three. But he's leading the Commanders in pressures, so he's still affecting the quarterback.
Yeah, and you talk about Dorrance probably will be lined up against Tyler Guyton, so that matchup will be crucial. Do y'all feel like Tyler Guyton is ready for that?
Maybe.
Well, the good thing is that having the history, and I know there's history ties everywhere within the NFL, you have a little more tendencies on, or I guess insight on the tendencies that Dorrance has. Little things that if you didn't coach him, you might not know. You know how to get in his head a little bit. So for me, if Tyler Guyton can take those pieces of advice and utilize them, he's gonna need all the help he can get this week. And that's no shade to him. It's just, again, when a guy's on a streak like Dorrance is right now, you're gonna need the help.
Yeah, I'm more worried about a Lulu.
Oh, that's probably
coming off. Because he rushes off.
Love Bobby Wagner, but that was the signing of the offseason, I think, for them.
Such
great
an
linebacker,
underrated player. I wasn't familiar with his game until I started watching some tape on him, and they blitz him off the edge, they blitz him up the A gap. And he's a terror. And that one thing that has given Tyler Guyton issues this year are those bendy and Terrence Steele. If they're bendy, if they're explosive off the line, if their footwork allows them to go inside out, and it's crazy because it's really that he's struggling to get his hands on people and to redirect people. So they're able to just go in, out, and just have straight, and be able to go straight to the quarterback. So I worry more about him than a Dorrance. Dorrance he has speed to power things. Yeah. He has some hand tech, but he's not going to break down your hands like crazy. He typically is going to run through you or overpower you or win the leverage game. He does really understand leverage as well. We miss him on special teams. I'll say that too.
Absolutely.
But yes, it's a weird situation to kind of be in going up against these guys because I wouldn't say they're unique in how they do things, but they have so many different guys that they can kind of send your way that we can't really pinpoint like, it's going to be this guy against this guy. Oh, it's going to be this guy against this. No, because they're going to mix it up.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and thanks for mentioning Frankie Luvu because we need to tell everybody, keep your eyes on number 4. He's outside linebacker, and I think they'll move him around. And, while our tackles have their hands full with Dante and with Dorrance, here comes... Here comes Luvu.
Please. All right, we're going to take our first break. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit of some tight end production. Who needs to step up? Who has to step up? Who better step up? All right, that's up next here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Nation, it's time to get the giving season going. Tune in to see country music superstar Lainey Wilson and a special guest perform during the Salvation Army's, oh my gosh, can I talk today? Annual Red Kettle Kickoff halftime show this Thanksgiving on Fox. Every donation stays in the community to provide help and hope for those in need. So tune in and watch the Cowboys, Giants, and Lainey Wilson this Thanksgiving and give today at salvationarmyusa.org.
Woo!
Go give.
Wake up!
It's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's next week, y'all.
Yeah.
It is.
What you cooking, Christy?
A Cowboys win.
A Cowboys win. I've worked every Thanksgiving since I've never been home for Thanksgiving since I was 16 years old.
That's
because
crazy.
I went to Texas A&M and I was there when I was 17. And so A&M played Texas every Thanksgiving night.
Ain't that happening soon?
Well, it's actually going to be on the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yes, ma'am.
But back in the day, that was the
It was on
game. And so, and then when I graduated college and I started work, then doing Cowboys, so I have not been home for Christmas since, well, I don't want to give my age, but it was the 80s.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Christy, what?
Dang.
Well, I'll probably be at the game, so whatever they're serving at the game.
And they
That
do,
sounds
yeah.
good.
Legends Hospitality at AT&T Stadium. They do such a beautiful job for Thanksgiving. I'll bring the stats next week about the pounds of turkey and yams and stuff like that. I'll have that available for you, and how many pumpkin pie and pecan pie and all that. So I'll bring that. But it's an amazing thing that they put together, because think about what you do to prepare when people come over for Thanksgiving. Now invite 93,000 people, and that's what Legends does.
You could.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
I don't know
cooking something?
I don't know why you keep asking me the same question every year. Like we asked me this last year. I
did.
said no. I don't cook. We're not
Every year, as if it's been years.
It's been a
2
year.
years.
Same thing. But like y'all know the answer.
Yeah, no. You do
No.
know that.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's
I
fine.
just get curious.
Are you cooking anything?
Yes.
What are you cooking?
Well, I have to cook macaroni and cheese for something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all pray for me. I don't really do. Never had a potluck. I've been to a potluck till I moved to the Midwest for 6 years, and now everybody doing them. So I'm just gonna.
Better get on TikTok.
I'm gonna pray about it.
Yeah.
I'll pray for you. It's fine.
There's some really good TikTok
Because you can't eat at everybody's house.
That's very true.
You cannot.
From
Make sure they're
everybody
washing
else.
their hands.
Well,
Okay,
okay.
anyway,
Cooking.
Thanksgiving. Let's
You
cook.
know who's ready to cook?
Brandon cooks.
No, girl.
The tight end
Brevin
row.
span 4. Dang. We said tight end.
We literally
One job.
We were just talking about it in the break.
Well, we
talking about
just
tight ends.
said that he was trending up this week.
Yeah, Brevin. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Anyways, Brevin Spanford, Luke Schoonmaker, two guys against the Texans that at least stepped up in place of Jake Ferguson with him going down with a concussion, and since he'll be most likely missing Sunday against the Commanders. How much confidence did that give you guys for a guy like Brevin Spanford and Luke? I'll start with you, Jess, though, about Brevin Spanford. How much confidence did it give you?
My favorite room.
I know.
You know I love the Texans.
I know.
Well, so I talked to Brevin. You did as well, so we can bounce back and forth off about this because the thing about Brevin is he has had such a slow rise to that tight end 2 position. Very quiet and slow because, Christy, I didn't realize on the depth chart he was listed as tight end 2 until you pointed it out. And you know what? That was earned. It was earned. Brevin has done his time on special teams. He does what he needs to do, and his number is called.
Absolutely.
And something that I really enjoy about him as a player is the mentality, you know, the attitude, the way he goes about things. So when I asked him, you know, with Jake being out, what does this mean to you? He was very much like, well, it sucks, the circumstances, because you never want to see Jake go out. He said that first and foremost.
Absolutely.
But it ended up becoming one of the situations where he talked about Lunda Wells, the tight ends coach, and he said, Lunda prepares us at all times to be ready if something happens to one of our guys. So there's never a drop-off. There's never a change in our schedule or the consistency with how we practice because we're always ready for that. And I asked him, you know, what is something you feel like you've improved on this season? He said just getting a bigger scope of pretty much the system, taking it in, taking little things that he's been told and applying that to his game. Very coachable young player that actually was my pet cat in free agency, if you remember. And I'm very excited for him to come forward and see what he has. However, Luke Schoonmaker, would love to see more production out of him as well. I really want to see, Nicole calls it a dog. I want to see the dog come out.
Absolutely.
And it needs to.
Roof. All right, not like that, though. But no, woof. Talking to...
like that.
Talking to Brevin, too, piggybacking off of what you had mentioned about Lunda, I'd asked him as well, like, what's the approach or mentality of this tight end room when you don't have the presence of Jake Ferguson on the field? And he had said that, well, training camp, Lunda Wells had made it clear, like, the production better not slack. Even whoever's not there, if it's Luke, if it's Brevin, if it's Jake, whoever's not there, the production needs to stay the same. So that's something that you have to respect Lunda Wells about because he does so many good things with that tight end room. And I also got a chance to ask him about, like, what does he feel? Because in Minnesota, they were more of a run-heavy team. And so I'd asked him, like, okay, well, what's the challenge of trying to adjust into different systems, because you look at the Cowboys, they're still trying to find that identity in the run game. I mean, they've found it, but it's not as consistent as a Minnesota Gophers team was. So he had just said that what's helped him is the run blocking schemes are kind of similar from what he ran in Minnesota to where he's able to kind of use that and bring it here. And he also grew up, he had made like set school records in high school as a wide receiver. So like he's been able to tie so many different things to his game from whether he was young in high school up until now. That's kind of helped him grow up a little bit faster in the NFL, and that's something that he really touched on as well. So yeah, it was good stuff.
That is good information. And I remember watching him through the draft process, and I remember Cowboys Nation being ecstatic. I remember when they brought him in as an undrafted free agent, some of the expectations, I was surprised he didn't get drafted. I understand that Minnesota maybe is, to some people's standards, a smaller program. I do think the fact that they were really run heavy and some of the stuff he had to do maybe was. But when you talk about the receiver background, I did remember reading that about him. And that was something that didn't get to really he didn't get to really show in college like that because he was doing so much blocking. They were really smash mouth, moving people out the way type of offense. So with him, I touched base with him, as you ladies said, I touched base with him at the beginning of the season. I always like to talk to the players that I've watched film on because I'm like, hey, Hey, I saw you. I watched you. And I told him, I asked him, to be honest with me, about where he felt like he was at this point. This was weeks ago. And he mentioned that he felt like he needed to be better sealing off his blocks. He mentioned that he felt like he needed to be able to sustain blocks longer and be more physically imposing as he did in college. Now, he still got to get in his big man body. Absolutely. He's a big man. He's huge. Yeah. He's not in his big man body, though, yet. Because we saw a significant difference between Jake Ferguson. Even so, if you look at Schoonmaker's frame and stuff, you can tell it's changed from year to year. So, but the attitude that he's come in with, as you said, has helped. And you have slowly but surely started seeing him taking strides. I personally thought, going back and watching him, whereas it wasn't perfect, I thought this was his best game that he's played this season thus far as a blocker, but also showing confidence as a receiver. I think it is going to be important because of everything you just said, his collegiate career as well, that the coaches instill that confidence in him again as a receiver and allow him to build that, because it's in there. He said, but it's in there. But it's fair to say that it's kind of been pushed to the side because he has been known for his blocking, and that's what he does. And I do think he has some versatility. We talk about the size. He can be a red zone threat. He has some wiggle in the passing game. I think he could really develop into a good piece, so seeing him kind of grow during this time is going to be pivotal. So I would like to have him back next year. Cowboys paid him some change. He's one of the highest paid undrafted free agents in this free agency, this undrafted free agency. So there are some expectations there. Hopefully he can pull the reins a little bit and really hone in on that tight end 2 spot.
As the season goes on, wouldn't you love to see him on some seam routes? I mean, oh my God, what a matchup! What a matchup! And red zone too. But in terms of his, big boy body. He's a rookie. He hasn't gone through an NFL offseason conditioning program yet. So he's going to be different when he gets to training camp next year, and once Harold and Kendall and the guys, Cedric, and the strength and conditioning staff have a full offseason to work with him.
Yeah, something that he also did touch on about the confidence that Aisha was mentioning about was that he did say that the coaches they understand that he's still young and he still has a lot of growing to do, but they are very patient. They're not, I won't use the word force. Yeah, I'll use forcing. They're not forcing it to, they're not forcing it. And if he does make mistakes, they're open about it. Like, of course, behind the closed doors, of course they're going to get on, but he did say that, like, at the end of the day, yes, they're coaches, but they're also understanding that he does have a lot of growing to do in the NFL.
And I will say that tight end room as a whole, there's been speculation about belief in systems and coaches and blah, blah, blah on the outside. But what I will say is, undoubtedly, that tight end room will always hype up Lunda Wells. That is the first thing that they will always say is how much respect that they have for Lunda as their coach. They take what he says to heart, and his approach with it is very understanding, to your point, Nicole. It's not going to force you to do something that you're not ready to do. He understands where they're all at, in the positions that they're at, in the timing of their careers that they're at, and he works with them individually. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of circumstance with Lunda, from what I understand. It's very much individualized, and they are bought into it. That tight end room has not wavered on any kind of faith with their tight end coach. They're bought in on Lunda. They respect the hell out of him. And, for me, it says a lot when you ask a player, like, hey, you're going to get your opportunity this week. And the first thing that he said was, I have to give credit to Lunda because I've been prepared for this. Like, that was the first thing he said. And usually that's kind of not what players would typically credit first.
That's the downside of, like, what's going on right now and them having a losing season and how things kind of feel right now. Is like, I think Lunda Wells has done a fantastic job as the tight end coach since he's been here. And you mentioned that a lot of the players respect him, but he's also very personable. And he will teach you about the game. He will give you information if you have the moment to. But I think we have seen some guys' careers flourish here. Dalton Schultz, obviously Jake Ferguson at this point. We've seen guys kind of trend up with him here. So
we'll see.
Barnacles, we'll see.
We'll see. Who has to not who has to. They all better step up. Who has to play well when you're just talking about this tight end room specifically on Sunday against the Commanders?
Obviously, we're talking about Brevin.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Luke Schoonmaker. And I will say that not just for this game, I will say it for the rest of the season, because before you know it, that offseason's going to creep up. If Brevin continues to be on the path that he's at, Luke Schoonmaker could potentially be on a chopping block situation, especially if you get the healthy John Stevens Jr. back. You go back to that competition that we were talking about in the offseason this year of John Stevens Jr., Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spanford. It's still up for grabs, guys. That tight end 2 spot is not solidified, and if Luke wants it enough, he can go back and grab it. It's not solidified yet, but he has to play with the fire in him. Like, you just haven't seen it yet, and so he's been consistent when he needs to be. I just want to see him try to fight for that tight end 2 position more.
Yeah, it's a draft need. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have confidence in any of what's going on right now.
All right. On that note, we'll be right back. We're going to talk more Girls Talk, Boys Talk up next, but we're playing a game.
What is it today?
You got to find out right after the break. We'll be right back.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
The most electrifying event of the holiday season is here. Cowboys Christmas Extravaganza, powered by Reliant, is back at the Start in Frisco. Join us every Friday and Saturday night from November 22nd through December 21st for a spectacular holiday show with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, Rhythm and Blues, Rowdy, Santa Claus, and a surprise tree lighting appearance from your favorite Cowboys heroes, I should say. Best of all, the show is free. For details, visit thestardistrict.com. Don't miss out on the holiday magic.
And if you're coming tonight, say hi.
Go ahead.
Bringing my family here. And
Love
since you
that.
mentioned DCC, I just want to say that the DCC Star Magazine is hot off the press this week, and it's so beautifully done. So
Hot off
yeah,
the press.
so
Are
it's,
those free?
it's
Love that.
just in time.
Yeah, where can we get those?
Just in time. You can go online, and I believe at the pro shops as well.
There we go.
But excellent gift for DCC fans in your life.
I love that.
It looks nice.
All right, ladies, we have our sponsored segment by Invisalign.
We love Invisalign.
Yes. All right, who do you expect to make you smile on Sunday and why?
Rico and the Cowboys' run game, because Washington, if they have a little bit of an Achilles heel, it is their run defense, third worst in the league, allowing just over 150 rushing yards a game. And so, Nicole, you mentioned earlier that the Cowboys' run game is doing better, but just not consistently.
Yeah.
And so I think that if the run game gets untracked, that it would be this Sunday.
I'm going to go Jalen Tolbert. I know, little little spin move here. And that's because, again, I will die on this hill. You're going to see more of the Jalen Tolberts, Jalen Brooks, kind of have their uprise with Cooper Rush in because they get more of their practice time together, so that trust is there. For me, it's an obvious that if CD's expected to play, might take a little tick down in snaps. Might. Kevontae Turpin, obviously, going to get an increase in snaps. So, obviously, those two things make me smile. But when you're spreading the ball around more, and I think you're going to get more of a Jalen Tolbert involvement, I'm going to go with Jalen Tolbert because Cooper Rush seems to have that trust in there. Jalen Tolbert has that trust. And for me, I just know Jalen is chomping at the bit to have his moment because he's ready for it. So, I'm going Jalen Tolbert.
What's going to make me smile?
Who?
Who's gonna make me smile? If Deron Bland gets to finally take the field across from Trayvon Diggs, and again, they're both coming off of injuries, it's kind of a recovery year for them. I think it could still be a nice little peek look-see into what this secondary could look like next year with those two guys at corner. And I think with those guys healthy, they're gonna be a problem. So
are they gonna be anything but Bland? Yes.
I guess you
I
can.
haven't been able to say that for 9 weeks.
I was about to meet her where she was, and I guess you can dig it.
Yeah.
Dig it.
I'm so
I
proud.
can dig it. I know, it's disgusting. I'm sorry.
I'm so proud of you.
What about you, Mama?
Well, I was going to say Rico. It's fine.
I'm sorry,
No,
Nico.
I promise
You
it's
can
okay.
say
I'm going to go Kevontae Turpin.
You don't want to daddle
we're
him.
Different.
Oh, my gosh.
Please say yours so we can get with
We all gotta be different. So I'm gonna go Kevontae Turpin because he had a hell of a game last week. 64-yard touchdown reception. I thought that it was impressive. I think that, of course, with the Commanders, they run a little bit more zone than they do man. But if they do run a little bit of man,
try him.
let's try them.
Come on.
Use some Kevontae Turpin.
Try
Come
him.
on, sister.
Let's talk about speed. All right, this has been great.
Anything but
On that
Bland.
note, wait, we got picks. Haha, let's do it. We need score predictions. Go. We ain't done this in a minute.
Yeah.
It's fine. We got to
23-21.
Who?
I'll go Cowboys.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's next?
Thanks for watching.
I'll go 17-22 Commanders.
Okay.
I'm going to go 25-21 Commanders. Sorry, guys.
I'm gonna go. Stressing me out. 21 Commanders.
Uh-oh.
I know.
At the edge of our seats here.
14 Cowboys.
Oh my gosh. At least it scored 2 TDs.
Yeah. Woo! Well, I don't know. Or Brandon Aubrey really putting in that work.
Yeah.
Either way.
On that note, hopefully the Cowboys do prove us wrong and get the win on Sunday because that would be amazing. All right, that's a wrap for Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Justin Tavares, and Christy Scales. We'll be back here next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!